General Brown, thank you so much for being here at the Reagan National Defense Forum. We really appreciate your being here.
Well, good. It's good to be back. This is actually my third opportunity to be here out at the Reagan Library and be part of this national security dialogue that goes on over this particular weekend.
Excellent. Well, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, you are officially the principal military advisor to the President, to the Secretary of Defense, and to the National Security Council. So if you would please explain to our audience what that means in practice and what it means to be the nation's highest-ranking military officer.
Well, first of all, let me just tell you it's humbling being, the word as the nation's highest-ranking military officer. But the real role that I do as a chairman of the Joint Chiefs is to provide military advice to the President, Secretary of Defense, and the National Security Advisor. And the way I do that is, bring in information, whether it's current intel, looking at various trends, security trends, not only for our national security but more global, in my engagements with our allies and partners. And then I try to synthesize that and then provide that in a succinct form to the Secretary. And the President and National Security Council. And in some cases, it ends up being a dialogue. It goes back and forth, and I try to put things in the context of how the military can support with the President's objectives and our national security objectives, and at the same time minimize risk.
You sometimes have to deal with ambiguity and divergent views, so
for
not easy.
For sure, and as you might imagine, the complexity of the world drives some ambiguity and different views, and that's why I think the dialogue is really important.
Well, you received the President's daily brief. You're one of the few individuals in the entire U.S. government who does receive that. It contains some of our nation's most sensitive information. At an unclassified level, obviously, what concerns you the most, and what do you think is really important that maybe isn't in the national conversation, but is a very real issue that you're grappling with?
Well, when I think about our national security documents, where it's a national security strategy, national defense strategy, it outlines 5 challenges, security challenges: People's Republic of China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and violent extremists. What concerns me the most is that more and more those things are becoming intertwined. Those 5 challenges are becoming more intertwined.
They're not in neat little buckets.
They're not. And as they become more intertwined, I think what the American public needs to understand is why do each one of these matter? Because they're intertwined and they all impact our national security, which is why one of my roles is to try to make sense of all that, and as I provide my advice. And that's what America, I think, needs to know is each one of these has an impact on our security. And the better we are able to talk about that and better understand, it'll help us as a nation making sure we stay secure.
Well, this is your 3rd year as a speaker at the Reagan National Defense Forum, although the last 2 times you were here, you were Chief of Staff of the Air Force, so you have a new job,
Right.
As we discussed earlier. Beyond the obvious wars and conflicts that have occurred over the last 3 years, what mega trends or challenges in the national security environment are top of mind for you right now, and that we need to be addressing as a nation?
Well, actually, the last 2 years I was here, the panels that I was on were really talking about innovation, and I had spent some time out in Silicon Valley. But when I think about mega trends, it's very easy to talk about artificial intelligence or quantum. But it's the technology that we're able to produce out of our country, but it's also the collaboration that comes together and bringing that technology and be able to use it for national security challenges. And that's the beauty of coming here to Reagan, for the past couple of years, to bring the two of those together and how we all have an interest in our national security and how we can work together.
Space, the high north, are those they're admittedly very important issues. Are they getting enough attention, for example, or are there others that you would say we as a organization or we ought to focus more attention on?
Well, I do think they're getting the right attention. I think one of the benefits of standing up with the United States Space Force is it did open up more dialogue on space, and you also see that in the commercial sector. More conversation about the Arctic. Matter of fact, just this past week, I met one of my counterparts from the Arctic, and we had a conversation about those nations that operate in the Arctic. And so it's all part of our security apparatus in our national security areas that we focus on. So space becomes one of those. The Arctic becomes one of those. Cyber is another area that you see that we've got to continue to pay more and more attention to.
And maybe in line with your previous comments, there's intertwining across those issues, right?
Very much so.
You don't put cyber here and space over there and just forget about it.
And this is why, again, this is why I think the dialogue and collaboration is so important. We have expertise in different areas, and how we bring those experts together to talk about how best to operate together and to move forward improves our security.
Switching gears a little bit, you entered service, or you earned your commission in 1984. You've served 7 commanders-in-chief with distinction, with your first one being President Ronald Reagan, which is very significant for us here at the Ronald Reagan Foundation. What are your reflections on serving under Ronald Reagan and on the threat environment of that era versus today?
Well, the thing I really resonate with is the fact that I came in commissioned in 1984 and came out of duty in the spring of '85 during the Cold War, and the fact that our focus on the Soviet Union during that time frame, and just a few years later, the wall came down, and the Cold War, as we knew it, was over. But at the same time, the defense budgets and the way President Reagan put money into the force, I saw the benefits of that over my career. I flew F-16 throughout my career, and I tell people that the F-16s that I flew back when I was a lieutenant to what I've flown most recently here, probably about 3-4 years ago, look the same on the outside, but the capabilities, the avionics, and the investments have made that airplane even more capable. And I would say the same thing across all of our defense apparatus. His vision to put money in the right place at the right time ensured we maintain the security we do today.
We certainly believe in peace through strength here at the Reagan Foundation, so I appreciate your comments. More broadly, if you look back to 1984 and the years leading up to that, what called you personally to public service, and why is it important for young people more generally to serve, whether in uniform or otherwise?
Right. Well, this whole thing is my dad's idea. My dad's a career Army officer, did 30 years in the uniform. And when I was in high school, he told me 4 years in the military will not hurt you. And I trusted his mentoring. And so I was going to do 4 years and get out. But once I came in, it was the opportunities I had beyond that, and the opportunities I still get to do today. I often believe that young people only aspire to be what they see or know about. And I think we have a responsibility as leaders to talk about those opportunities. And I think about my own experience of having flying F-16s, but I've had a chance to fly 20 different aircraft. Matter of fact, I flew yesterday coming out here. I've traveled all around the world. I've been to every continent. I think the key part for us is how do we talk to young people and talk to them about the opportunities, whether you're going to stay for just a handful of years or you stay for a handful of decades, and how that contributes to our nation, and whether you serve in uniform or you serve in some other form, it's all important.
Well, General Brown, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you for being here at the Reagan National Defense Forum, and thank you for your service, and thanks to all those who serve. Appreciate it very much.
My pleasure. Good to be here.